Hey, shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to say, call halal, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Bahashim Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me. Also would like to say peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Akim that's pushing his word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. Just back in the spirit of another lesson. And this is just more exhortation for the body of believers. I may end up titling this lesson something to the effect of let actions speak louder. And I'm referring to actions speaking louder than words because, all of us at times we profess and express, certain things that are within the core of our spirit, when it comes to our faith, because we are faith-based Israelites, like some like to call us, but more than the expression, which the scriptures do speak about the confession of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. We go out on the highways and the byways and being able to preach and convey a message to the hopeful elect. But within that, you have a set of ears and one mouth for a reason. You should be listening, discerning, and more importantly, applying action more than speaking, because we all gonna have to give an account for everything that we speak. And not to say because some brothers, they may be more vocal than others. So I'm not trying to, hinder any brother's gift, as an orator or just a great speaker, teacher, or none to that effect. But just every word should be calculated. That's the exhortation. And me, myself, I have to examine my own spirit, like it says in 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. And sometimes we may be excited about new ventures and this, that, and the third. Like even with workout goals, you might be like, man, I'm gonna go harder. I'm gonna do this and do that. I'm gonna invest. I'm gonna save money. But you may say that because you can speak things into existence, but more than everything, you have to put steps together. Action has to be applied. That's the main topic of the lesson. Let's let our actions speak louder than our voice, so to speak, because the times to come, like I said, matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and start there before I keep rambling. This is St. Matthew 12:36. It says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. So we want to make sure our words are seasoned with salt. Our words are seasoned with praise and fruits of the spirit, and just edification more than anything. Now, we all can get within our folly from time to time. We're in this flesh, but we have to make sure that we're mindful of what we're speaking, and of course, according to the doctrine, we got to make sure that we're speaking the sound doctrine. And if it's something that you're unsure on or breakdown, you might just want to be quiet. Don't bring it up if you don't got the full understanding of something. For younger men, trying to, put yourself like you're on some type of level, So we got to make sure, what we speak is into edification when we do speak, just using brevity or being concise, meaning you're saying very much in few words as possible. That's what we all have to make sure we get in that mind frame, just as Yahweh Shai himself, because Yahweh Shai usually, when he was questioned by the scribes and the Pharisees, he usually gave short, quick, to the point answers. He was cutting them through the scriptures. And more importantly, he was allowing his actions, performing miracles, raising people from the dead, healing people. He was allowing his actions to speak louder than his voice. But continuing on, that's the point being made. I'll read it again. Matthew 12:36, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. And of course, scoffers and mockers and, everybody that's spewing madness, especially coming up against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in the spirit of this truth, everybody's going to have to give an account to the ultimate judge, the Most High Yahweh, in the day of judgment. But this more is edification towards the body. We got to make sure that words are measured, but actions are speaking way louder than what we could ever say. And when we speak, not speaking just because you like the sound of your own voice, but, you know, letting your speech be fruitful. Not doing a lot of vain talking. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, because like I said, we all get in our folly from time to time. We talk about all manner of nonsense. So I'm not trying to come down on brothers in that lane, but if you're spiritual, I hope the Spirit's working with you for the true brothers to get what I'm trying to convey, you know. But I'm gonna go to another scripture in the book of Proverbs, the 10th chapter, and I'll start at the 19th verse. I'll just get right to the point. Proverbs 10 and 19. It says, "In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips, is wise." And I'll read it in the NLT actually. Proverbs 10 and 19 in the NLT, it says, "Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut." And I know we're just what's the word I'm looking for? Robots or nothing like that. So brothers are gonna talk, and some brothers are more long-winded than others. But the scripture says too much talk leads to sin, you know? So we got to be sensible in our talk and making sure that even in our speech, if we're saying certain things, that our actions are backing up what we're saying, you know? Just being men of integrity. But it says too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. So that's the spirit that we have to be in the mindset of Yahweh Shah, keeping our composure, not knowing the right hand, knowing what the left hand has set up, using subtlety. The scriptures we always quote, Isaiah 33 and 6, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." So we just got to make sure that whatever we're doing in our bodies, that speaks louder than what we could profess, you know, because some brothers, you know, they may be open to say, man, I love you, brother. And that's cool, you know, because we do love each other. You know, we enjoy with all of our gifts that we bring to the table for one another and just the camaraderie of the brotherhood. But more so, you know, if you're telling a brother that, hey, man, I love you, brother, man, you cool and all of that, just make sure that you're doing unto that brother as Yahweh Shah would do unto you, or that you would do unto Yahweh Shah, because that's how you ultimately show your love for Yahweh Shah, is just by that brotherly love, which goes back to charity at the end of the day, you know, and making that be expressed through actions more than just words all of the time. And I could think of a few brothers that's just good at that, you know. And I know Elder Yashawamba, that's what comes to mind. Just certain other brothers too, you know. But they just allow their actions to speak, you know, for them, so to speak. And we all have to just aim and push as close to that mark, you know, based on our own spirit and capacity in the flesh, or in the faith, so to speak, while serving in this flesh. But continuing on, I'll just go to another precept, Salakia. I'll go to James, the 1st chapter. Yeah, this is James, the 1st chapter, in the 22nd verse. It says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own self." So, you know, we don't want to be just hearers of the word, and then therefore you hearing and learning, and you may be able to go out there and teach and preach, and, you know, cursing out the so-called black woman, cursing out the 2/3, you know, but you and your own actions, you know, you're not actually living out what you're learning and reading in the word and what you're preaching about. And you're deceiving your own self, man, you know. So we can't come in that lot either, being double-minded pretty much, you know, like the apostles and elders used to say back in the day, being a weekend warrior. Like, you on fire, you know all the precepts, you on point, you know, quick gun, quick draw McGraw with the precept game, I don't at the camp. But in your daily life, it's in shambles, man. You ain't, doing none of the benevolent duties that you're required to do. Just partaking in Yahweh Shai. So that's really what I'm trying to convey, in the message. We got to make sure that actions speak louder than what we're professing. Matter of fact, let's see what it says in the NLT. James 1:22, it says, but don't just listen to the Most High's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourselves. So then the scripture says in Revelation 1:3, blessed is he that readeth and keepeth those things that are written therein, for the day is at hand. And the key part of that is keepeth, which is action, applied action, keeping those things which are written therein. Within the text that you're reading, we have to strive to the best of our ability to keep those things in action, more in deed than in word. Because we're not fooling the Most High at the end of the day. His eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all of the ways of men, So we got to make sure we know what we're doing this thing for as well. Especially as we see the day approaching. Matter of fact, it was something else in James, just the next chapter over. James, the 2nd chapter in the 20th verse. Right to the point on this one, it says, but wilt thou, O vain man, Salakia. Yeah, James 2:20, it says, but wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead. So, expressing the measure of faith that you have is vain without the works to back it up, so to speak. You can say, I believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Once the time of Jacob's trouble, man, I never, turn my back on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. I never take the that it talks about in Revelation 13:16, that implantable thing that the Most High warns us not to receive. You'll make a vow and swear and promise with your mouth to not do the thing that the Lord told you not to do. But indeed, in the intent of your spirit, you're not cut out to do that. So we got to make sure that everything lines up. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost as well. That's something we all have to strive to do better. It says, James 2:20, but wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead. And it goes hand in hand, because there is a certain level of belief, that gift of faith that was given from on high. But there's also action that has to be applied that shows your faith, that shows your commitment, to the sacrifice required to be delivered, to receive mercy from Yahweh Shai, from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Matter of fact, I'll read it in the NLT, James 2:20. It says, how foolish, can't you see that faith without good deeds is useless? So just the belief itself, you're in agreement with the word, but there's no action behind it, to show that you're devout. That's vain. That's useless. Like it says, man, we don't want to be useless in these things, just speaking, beautiful, smooth words, but nothing ever amounts to anything, you just sound good. But the actions sound better. That's the point being made. Matter of fact, I'll get this and I'll end out the short lesson, because we all got to consider, that we're going to have to face the seat of judgment, like it says in 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, whether the deeds in our body, whether they've been good or bad. So we want to make sure, just with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we've been given, that we're using our gift and our measurements to the best of our ability, and praying for strength to increase and grow and grow from glory to glory, until Yahweh Shai delivers us and we're changed, until our bodies are changed to where we're not going to be able to go off anymore, But in these times, we got a big duty and a task ahead of us, man. And I just want to exhort the brothers to just make sure the things that we're actually applying, that speaks way louder than what we can say we're going to do, you know, just get it done. And if another brother wants to point out, you know, what you're actually doing, the activity itself, then call all y'all Bashim Yahushua. But let the work speak for itself, man. So with all being said, I'll get this real quick. Yeah, this is Matthew 24. Yeah, that's it. This is Matthew 24 and 46. It says, "Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing." So that's the spirit that we want to make sure that we're in to the best of our ability. Like they used to say back in the day, like in the church, like if you died today, you know, would you go to him? You know, you got to ask yourself that question. So, you know, on the real tip, though, you know, if Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, if the prophecy somehow sped up to where this thing just went down like in a couple of days, you know, would you be in position to be worthy to be delivered out of this judgment? We hope we part of the elect, but the scripture says give diligence to make your calling and election sure. And being diligent, that means putting forth action, you know, in whatever required role or task that you need to complete. So we want to make sure that we're found doing. And there's a lot of levels where doing can be shown through the preaching and the edification of the word itself, you know, out on the highways and the byways, putting up videos, you know, being charitable amongst the body, fellowship, prayer, reading, studying, you know, just meditating, you know, just all different types of ways to where we can service, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to prove ourselves worthy to be delivered out of this judgment. So with all being said, you know, I just want to just speak and just share some thoughts. So Lord willing, this edified. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.